Indie Soul Rhythms with Moochie Alfonso, bringing you the very best in indie soul.
Hi, this is Ali Starr, hanging out with soul brother Moochie Alfonso on Indie Soul Rhythms. It's got to be the grooviest show on the planet. Keep it locked in.
Spend your Sunday afternoons with good food, good company, and good music. The Sunday Soul Brunch at Lobster and Grill, 12 High Street, Sutton, with music by Moochie Alfonso from Soul Groove Radio, plus guest DJs every Sunday from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. 50% discount on selected drinks between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. To book, call 020-8722-0180 or find us online at lobsterandgrill.co.uk. Make your Sunday brunch complete with Lobster and Grill.
Welcome back. Time just gone 2 minutes past 3 o'clock right here in London. And this afternoon I'm joined by Lettrice Lawrence, who's with us this afternoon. Award-winning singer, songwriter, producer, and actress. Good afternoon. Good morning, Lettrice.
Good morning.
How are you?
How are you, Moochie?
I'm good. I'm good. What's the weather like in
Awesome.
LA?
Well, it's a little dreary. It's cold, but hopefully we'll have some sun in a little bit.
Right, yeah. Hope you do. Here we've had a washed out bank holiday Monday, so it's been raining all afternoon. Anyway, let's get this show on the way. So I like to start from the very beginning and, so our listeners get to know our guests. So could you please start by telling us who Lettrice is and where you're from, and when did you first realize that you had the gift to sing and write songs?
Okay, my name is Lettrice Lawrence, and I'm from Los Angeles, California, where I was born and raised. Born May 22nd, 1971, 7 a.m. And both of my parents are ministers, and they were ministers. So I grew up in church. So my first experience singing in church was at 4 years old. My mom and dad said that when I was about 2 or 3, I would imitate the sounds on the TV, and they realized that I could sing. So they purchased me a little piano and a little xylophone. And so I got a big piano for my birthday when I was 7 years old, and I started taking piano lessons and sung in the church my whole life, and would sing in shows called Christmas in the Eyes of a Child, and it would be at the Wilshire Ebell Theater. And so I sang. I had an accompanist. Her name was Jerry, and she was prominent in my life, and she played the piano for me for a couple of years. Her name was Miss Jerry Reed. Then I also had an accompanist. His name was Mr. Lehman. And so I had that go on from age 5 to age 10.
Wow.
And then actually through age 12. And then we had the opportunity to go see Lena Horne when I was 10 and a half.
Right.
And we saw her at the Wilshire Ebell, and she, the show was called Sophisticated Lady. And she was in all blue, and she was just absolutely beautiful.
Wow.
So we went backstage, long story short, and I sat in her lap, and she's like, "What's your name, baby?" I told her my name was Lettrice, and she said, "What do you do?" I said, "I sing. I've been singing since I was 4, and I write songs. I play the piano, and I love jazz and gospel and classical." And she said, "Really?" And she said, "So what do you want to be when you grow up?" I said, "I want to be a singer." And she said, "What do you want to sing?" I said, "I want to sing pop, jazz, country." blues, R&B, soul music, house music. I was telling her everything. And she was like, all of that? I said, yes. And she said, well, you know what? You can do anything that you put your mind to, baby.
Wow.
So I've carried that with me my whole life. And I sang throughout I sang throughout high school at St. Mary's Academy. And then I got an award, a partial scholarship to go to Mount St. Mary's.
Wow.
It's college.
Wow.
And so I had vocal training from 19 all the way throughout. So I've had vocal training for 34 years. Dr. Carl Snyder, and trained with the Alexander technique with Professor Sweeney. So that's my early beginnings.
Wow. So when you say you've been a singer all your life, you actually do mean it. Yeah, you've been a singer all your life. You're also an actress. So how do you balance your acting and your singing careers?
Well, I basically, what I do, I sing mostly, but when I act, I book things in advance. So that way I can separate it, and I keep a really good calendar in my phone and a big one on my wall in my room. So I stay abreast of things.
Right.
So I've been acting as a child and a teenager, and then I got the chance to act in this play called What's Done in the Dark Part 2.
Right.
And Angie Fisher played the role of the mother. She's a singer. She was with Hidden Beach Records. And so I auditioned for it. It's a Spencer Collins play. And I became the mother, Mrs. Johnson, for What's Done in the Dark Part 2, which was nominated for an NAACP award.
Oh, wow.
And from there, I've been jumping in and out of acting over the years, but now I've been honored because I auditioned a couple of years ago for this part. I'm going to be on a show that's sponsored by Royal KTV, and I play a role, and the role is Julia, and it's a show called Lena and Mahogany, and it's going to be in North Carolina. Right. Tweet, the singer. Mm-hmm. Shar Jackson, who used to play on the Moesha show, and Melba Moore, and a plethora of other actors and actresses are going to be in this show. And so we start shooting in June, actually.
Right.
So I am very excited about that.
It sounds exciting. And
oh, yeah.
You've also worked with a number of artists, from Barbara Streisand, The Boys, Ralph Johnson of Earth, Wind and Fire, just to name a few. What were your key takeaways from working with such a variety of artists?
Well, I will say this. When I worked with Barbara Streisand, it was amazing because she was a perfectionist, but she was a sweetheart, and she sounded just like the record. I mean, she was absolutely breathtaking. And so when I saw her, the first thing she did was she put her hands on my cheeks, and she said, "You have the most beautiful teeth." and so I took that away from me, but what I took away from me was her excellence, right. And the fact that she has stage fright. She gets scared every time she gets on the stage, which she shared with us. But by the time she gets going, she lets the music take her away. And I said that professionalism-wise, that's who I've always aimed to be, like her, because she's very together. Oh, and it was a dream come true to work with her on her tour at the Staples Center in 2000. It was wonderful.
Oh, amazing.
And Ralph Johnson, he's wonderful to work with. He's hired me to work on different projects with him. And he invited me and his sister, Pam Johnson, to the studio. And we wrote a song called Very Merry Christmas. And we recorded it with him in the studio for Saida Garrett.
All right.
So that was a very wonderful experience. So what I would take with him is he is a businessman and he's very dedicated. He's been with Earth, Wind, and Fire for years, and he's traveled the world, and he has a lot of swag.
Okay.
So what I carried with me with meeting him is that he carries himself very well. So I always aim to carry myself very well. And
Amazing.
yeah, and so I got a chance to work with the boys in the studio, and they were very nice young men at the time. They were young.
Mm-hmm.
Now they've grown into wonderful young men. And I know that this wasn't talked about before, but Wynton Marsalis had a performance September 8th, 2022, and it was at the Lincoln Center at the actually it was at the Lincoln Center, but it was at the Hollywood Bowl, and I got a chance to sing with him at the All Right Jazz
wow.
show, and it's a 12-tone series show that he's done for years now, and it's absolutely breathtaking. And so what I got from that was professionalism, just amazing interpretation of the songs. He's like a musician chameleon because he jumps right into ragtime and he goes into Negro spirituals and he moves to samba. Then he goes right to straight jazz. He's just a musical genius, pretty much. And so I was really excited about that. Those were very good experiences for me.
Yeah.
And the list goes on, but it's just been a blessing.
Oh, that's
Moochie.
amazing.
It's been a blessing.
Amazing.
Yes.
And you've also received a number of awards and honors. How do you handle such success?
Humility.
I love that.
Humility. Yes, because the thing about it is, if you're blessed to have these experiences, you have to be graceful and realize that it was God's mercy and him opening the door that allowed you to have the experience. So I have been blessed to have several awards from the city. I have a BMA award, a Black Music Association award. That's means a lot to me because I got it because I put out a song called Moonlight Chaser, and it's like a party song. And we were locked down in the pandemic, and people loved that song.
Right.
And it did very well on the charts. It did really good with iHeartRadio. I got a BMA award for that. I have 2 Enthroned Entertainment honors, and I'm going to be honored actually at the Catalina Bar and Grill June the 30th for one of my songs, Ave Maria.
Right.
And it's I arranged this version, but it's by Julio Concini, and so I'm being awarded for that. In the past, I was awarded for Taking You Back, and then I was honored by the city from KGLH, and then I received the Ella Fitzgerald Award from the city.
Right.
And then the mayor gave me a humanitarian acts and services in the community award. And so these things continue to humble me and reminds me of God's grace.
Amazing stuff. So what would you be doing if you were not making music?
I used to think I would be a veterinarian when I was a little girl.
Yeah.
But I used to the funny thing is I used to take my Barbie dollhouse and I decorated it and made curtains and made little plates, and I would take pastels and create things that would look like food. So I wanted to be an interior decorator when I was young, when I was a little girl as well. And so I'd say I would either be an interior decorator, a lawyer, or a jewelry maker because I make jewelry.
Right.
And so I've already been a teacher before. I retired from that. But I would say that it would be between those things. I would be either a lawyer, an interior decorator, or a jewelry maker.
Right.
Because, because that seems like something I would like to do.
Right. So with your teaching career, what were you teaching? Were you teaching music or?
I taught music classes, and then I was a gospel choir director, and then I also taught all subjects. I taught all subjects in kindergarten,
right,
and sixth grade, and it was fun. I loved both those. Sixth grade and kindergarten was really good. Now, when I taught at a high school, 9th through 12th, not so much, because it was an all-girls school and they drove me bananas. But kids there, you can pour so much into kids. They're wonderful.
Yeah, I think I understand. I've got a 14-year-old turning 16.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, I do understand that age it's an interesting age.
It is.
Yeah. So if you had a blueprint, for staying relevant in the music industry, what would it look like?
The blueprint. If I had a blueprint, I would actually say that it would be kind of like the blueprint that Jamie Foxx had. My acting would lead way to more relevance, so that my music, could be very impactful and reinventing myself. That would be my blueprint,
right?
Because I noticed that that's a very successful recipe. Because even though he was a phenomenal comedian, I met him before. He's a very nice guy. He didn't really. He sung. The crazy thing is, he did albums. He created albums while he was working on the Jamie Foxx show and in Living Color. But people never took it seriously, and he was quite an amazing musician, vocally and on the piano. But they didn't take his musicianship seriously until he became Ray. And he did the buy-up of his life. Yeah. Of Ray Charles.
That was amazing.
Then when he became Ray Charles. It was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
He hung around him. And I think he said he met him and had a face-off. And pretty much Ray Charles had him play classical from blues, the gospel to everything. And he said that by the time he finished, he knew that he was the right one to play him.
And he did justice to that role.
Yes, he did. He did an extraordinary job. He really did. And so after he got his Oscar, he got with J Records, and his music did very well. So his acting segued into his music career. And a lot of times people just want to jump right into music.
Sure.
Sometimes it has to be a process, to go through the journey towards that type of success. Sure. It takes building.
Sure. And so you've got a new single out. It Starts With Me, and it's available on all digital platforms. Could you talk us through what this song is about and what inspired it?
What inspired It Starts With Me was one day I looked in the mirror and I didn't recognize myself. And I was dealing with a lot of negativity from the outside world and, sometimes from people that I knew that I was close to. And the business associates, colleagues, directors. And so I had to block the negativity and push through. And so I didn't want anything to change me or divert me from my life plan. Sure. And so I know many people who were also dealing with the same things. And I felt like it was my job to sing about it and create an awareness so many would be restored and they wouldn't get downtrodden about what they were trying to do on their road to creativity and on their road to success. So a lot of times people look at everything around them, but really and truly, like Michael Jackson said about the man looking in the mirror, you do have to look in the mirror inwardly. And so that's why I created It Starts With Me, because it starts with us individually.
Absolutely.
So that we can stay on that path that God has placed us on and keep our direction and move forward, full steam ahead. So that's kind of what the message is. And I really hope it touches people and they listen to the words, because it's really deep,
Yes.
It really is.
Oh, that's fantastic. And so what else can we expect in 2024? I know you're going to be shooting in Atlanta. Is it in a few months' time? Is there anything else on the horizon?
Yeah, I'm going to be shooting in North Carolina, and then I have 2 jazz shows coming. I'm looking at some locations. Thinking about the Barbara Morrison place, and definitely the Stuffed Potato. And then I'm going to be doing an R&B show, a classical show.
Okay.
And then I'm going to Greece October 8th through the 16th with a group that I sing lead for,
All right.
Episcopal Chorale Society.
All right.
And so I'm looking forward to that. And I also am working on an album.
Okay.
So the album should be released 2025.
Look forward to that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So is there anything else you haven't done in your career that you still want to do?
Yes. I want to travel the entire world singing, and I want to get a Grammy and an Oscar. I've been nominated. I was on this album, and I was working with Cynthia Herring, and she surpassed to cancer last year. But walking in a melody, and she was a wonderful singer. She did a lot of folk singing and world singing, and so we got an Oscar for and I sang on When the Saints Go Marching In. So people play it in Louisiana, especially when people pass or they have festivals.
Yeah.
And then I got nominated for Taking It Back and Ave Maria. So I'm looking forward to that Grammy one day, and Oscar, and being a household name.
Yeah.
And so I have a plan. And so I'm going to stick to the plan, and then stick to my humility as well. Because that's really my mantra. I really want to stay true to that.
Oh, fantastic. You got to manifest it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I
really believe in that.
Yeah. Got a couple of fun questions.
Wonderful.
Ask you, what's the best compliment you've ever got?
You're going to laugh. I think I said a little bit of it earlier, but the day that I started working for Barbara Streisand,
right,
and she cupped my entire face and looked at my teeth, the next day I was in the hallway, and I looked down the hallway and I saw this tall guy with black hair, and he had a black blazer on and some black slacks, and he had a lady with him. I looked again and I said, "That's John Travolta and Kelly Price."
Right.
And so I said, "Okay, try not to act a fool," because this was my crush when I was 7 years old,
right,
7, 8 years old.
Okay.
So walked up to me and he said, "I'm looking for Barbara." I said, "She was in her dressing room, but I don't know where she's at now." And he's like, "Hi, I'm John." I said, "I know who you are." And he started laughing. And so he said, "You have the most beautiful teeth I've ever seen."
Oh my goodness.
And I said, look who's talking." And he started laughing, and his wife started laughing. She said, "You do have the most extraordinary teeth." And so he hugged me, and I told him that I loved him ever since I was a kid, and that I was a singer, and and that that was really excited because I've been singing Barbara Streisand music my entire life.
Yeah.
And at the time, Sony was looking at me as an artist as well. So it was really a wonderful experience. And I take that experience with me every day because I met his wife, and it's really a trip because when you meet people,
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting what you can say, what you take with you. But both of them had like a light within them. You know how it says, let your light shine before men in the Bible?
Mm-hmm.
They were good people. And it's like I had a really good experience. And, I think it was extraordinary that he thought I had great teeth because his teeth were perfect and so was hers. But I mean, I'll probably take that with me for the rest of my life because, Kelly did succumb to cancer,
Yeah.
And, but incredible people, both of them. Yes. So that was a great experience.
Fantastic. One final one. Is there any person you would trade places with for a day?
It's funny because I would usually say no because I love the person I've evolved into, and I've never ever been jealous of anyone in my life. I've always celebrated people when I saw them win. I always thought that it was great. But if I had an opportunity, I think Luther Vandross, Lena Horne, Jesse Norman, Maria Callas, Vesta Williams, they've all touched my life.
Yeah.
But if Minnie Riperton was alive, I would trade places with her for a day.
Sure.
Yes.
Amazing.
I loved her.
Amazing.
Yes.
So just want to thank you for taking time to be with us on Indie Soul Rhythms, and I'm sure our listeners will agree. Enjoyed talking to you, finding out a little bit more about you. So thank you very much. I appreciate your time. And again, this platform is here for you, and I wish you the very best in 2024. And hope you'll keep us posted with any new projects. I know you're working on something for 2025. We look forward to that. Indie Soul Rhythms salutes you. Before you go, could you do us a favor and introduce your new single, It Starts With Me?
Hi, my name is Lettrice Lawrence, and I'm very delighted to share It Starts With Me. And thank you, Moochie, Alfonso, for this experience. And I am so happy to talk to you today and to be on your show. It's been a wonderful experience.
Thank you so much.
It starts with me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay.
I look in the mirror, but I don't recognize what I see. Searching for the pieces that uniquely created me. So the pieces that lived inside of me, I notice have drifted away. How can I find what's truly inside when I can't make it through the day? Who do I lean on? Who can see me? Who do I call when I lost it all? Will I ever be free? To get away from this misery, I need to break free. To get away from this misery. This is heavy on my spirit, weighing on my heart, picking up the pieces is where I need to start. Damn, my heart is bleeding.
Fire, baby.
God, this truly hurts. Confused from the beginning, torn apart from the fiery.